Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Hello, everybody. We are back.
With the hairy mics.
This is so hairy. This is so much hair on it.
Then go get the hair roller.
Well,
We're allowed to take 1 second to talk about that Andrew looks like a whole ass snack and I look like I just rolled out of bed. And that's the second we're going to take for that. I know we've been gone for a while. I feel like we missed one episode, dropped it a week later, and then we missed the correct week to put it out. So basically, we're sorry. We know we fucked up.
we're not sorry.
We're sorry.
I'm not sorry.
But to be fair, now it's like flying hair everywhere because you did that.
We're not sorry.
It's been chaos here in the house of the Biernats.
We're gonna do episodes now whenever we want.
No, we're not.
Yeah. So
No, we're not.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for that.
No, we're not doing that. Don't
just
trust
whenever
them.
we feel like. But
You want to do a little quick update? What's been happening these last?
not really.
Okay.
Sure, fine. We can do a quick update. I was telling Michelle that I don't want to do like our weekly updates anymore because I just feel like the podcast is becoming like, oh, this is what we've been doing, and I know that's like, I'm sure some people want to hear that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's becoming to this point where I just feel like
I feel like if something didn't happen, then yeah, we can skip it. But something did happen this past week.
Yeah, but again, what I'm saying is I feel like we like come on here and we're just like listing off what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And for me, that hasn't been, it's just been like,
Okay.
not appealing.
Tell me, what do you want to open the podcast with then?
Well, I was telling you the other day, I was like, I miss how we had topics and then we would discuss them.
Yeah.
And
I have topics.
that's good. That's
but
good.
I was going to jump into them as soon as we talked about
Okay.
what's been happening. But no, you tell me.
Well,
what do you want the podcast to be then?
No, I just want us to be more focused on discussing something instead of just being like, we did this yesterday and then we did this and then we did that and guess what, then we did that and then we did this. And that's what I feel like the first like 30-40 minutes of the past couple episodes have been. And for me, it's not interesting, like I know what I did and I know what you did because we were there, and I'm sure the audience, some people maybe want to hear that, but this whole thing, hold on, I'm sorry, but this whole thing that we started doing this is so we can talk about stuff.
Okay, but it's between us and isn't
I don't
between
need to
us
hear what you did this week because I know what you did this week.
Okay,
I know everything
but also,
that you do.
I think the people wants to hear what you did.
They
this
can
week.
follow us on social media.
We didn't post about this on social media.
About Oliver?
Yeah.
Kind of.
No, we did not post anything about
I posted a little picture of him and I said he's not doing well or something.
No, you didn't.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't
didn't.
know.
We haven't said peep squeak about this. So
I've never heard peep squeak about anything.
No.
What does that mean? Okay. I'll give the floor to Michelle so she could tell us about what's going on with Oliver because it did suck and it wasn't
did
fun.
suck.
Okay, you can go. Go. Tell us.
you just spent like 5 minutes having a whole spiel.
Let's do a
about
peep
how
squeak
you
about
go.
Oliver. Do a little peep squeak.
We were supposed to drop this episode last week. We were.
Who cares?
We were. I care.
I want to hear a little peep squeak about Oliver.
I'm very punctual when it comes to keeping things at when it's supposed to be done. You know?
Mm-hmm. I want to hear the peep squeak about Oliver so we can
Shut
start talking about other stuff.
I guess 2 weekends ago, Oliver started peeing blood. And he it didn't seem like an emergency because, I mean, like, yeah, peeing blood isn't, like, it's not a good sign.
No,
at
of
all.
course it's not. But we looked up a lot of stuff online. We found out pretty much all of the things that it could possibly be that the vet ended up telling us.
Yeah.
But the one thing he wasn't doing was he wasn't yowling.
He wasn't in pain.
Yeah, which they were saying if he's peeing blood and he's yowling and he's like clearly in pain, then that means that there could be a blockage, and then that's where it can become fatal within 24 hours. They were saying. So, but he wasn't in pain at all. He was drinking water. He was eating food. He was
going to the bathroom, and then it was just like in the evening on Sunday night, it was like a tiny bit of blood. And the reason we can see that is because we have a specific litter that's white, so
pretty litter.
And it changes colors.
Yeah.
So it changes. It's usually around like a yellow green, which means that it's good. But if it goes over to blue, or if it goes over to red means orange, means blood, and obviously, and blue means that it's something wrong with his kidneys. So it like detects common diseases. And we were like, that night you were keeping an eye on him to make sure that he wasn't getting worse.
He was sleeping in the chair next to our bed, and I was waking up every hour to like kind of keep an eye on him.
And he slept through the night.
Yeah.
And Monday morning we started calling the vet, and we were like, I don't feel like it's an emergency because he's not in pain and he's still going to the bathroom. He's not blocked. And then,
but his regular vet was saying, "Oh no, take him to an ER because he wouldn't be able to come in for a couple days to our regular vet."
Yeah, so. And they said that even if you do come in, you get an appointment here. I think the vet is probably gonna just tell you to go to the emergency anyways. So we ended up calling his emergency vet, which he goes to at least once a year for his epilepsy medication. Okay. And we went in, and I think we were there for like 4 hours. And they were doing tests on him, and like still he was doing fine.
Everything that we looked up online, we already this is what I'm saying. These vets, they rob you blind of your money.
I think this.
Okay.
It could have been worse.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. And we were very lucky that it wasn't worse than what it was. And like, yes, we spent a lot of money that we didn't really have to spend, but what if it was something worse and we didn't go?
Yeah, I know, but
that's what I'm thinking.
Of course we were going to take him to the vet. Of course. Yeah. I'm just saying that they...
But you just keep saying, oh, the vet robbed you blind.
Because they do. It's
but they didn't
honestly
know.
Insane.
They didn't know.
Yes, but what the prices they are charging are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like they're going to make profit regardless because what they're doing does not cost that much money. They're making profit. They don't need to fucking rob you blind and then leave you dead in an alley. Like, that's what they do with how much they're charging for these procedures that they're doing.
But they did blood tests. They did pee tests. And this is what they did.
$1,400 for urinary tract infection food, not antibiotics, because he didn't have a urinary tract infection. That's what the food is.
And they gave him pain medication.
Yeah, which also, by the way,
and they did blood tests. They did pee tests. They did an X-ray. They did
but
they gave him IV.
I'm just saying.
But basically and then we were the day after, because we switched on to his food and we started giving him pain medication, he got really bad diarrhea. It got really bad.
Okay.
TMI, sorry.
No, but okay, so hold on. What is it called that it happens in male cats? A common thing, because it wasn't a urinary tract infection. He didn't have any crystals or stones. He had no blockage.
He got it's called fluted, which is like the shortening of it, and it's feline lower urinary something, which means that he got stressed.
Well, no, they said it was caused by stress.
Yeah, it's usually caused by stress. And they don't know the exact cause, but they said the most common reason is stress. So he got stressed over something. We don't know what he got stressed over.
I mean, they going back to what you just said, they said they're not 100% sure what causes it.
Yeah.
But that was the one thing linked. I don't know. We have fire alarms that always go off here. There's like so many things that he has 2 dogs that he has to deal with, and they always try to play with him when he wants to sleep. But anyways, that wasn't fun.
That's what happened.
Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about?
I read a book
Okay.
called My Next Breath by Jeremy Renner.
Is that the one you finished yesterday?
No, that's the one that I read. That's James Wesley Hardin. James Wesley Hardin. He did like his own autobiography. He was like an outlaw in the West. And that's the book I finished last night, which was really cool. It's a really cool, like,
everything
Western outlaw book. But no, the book I wanted to talk about was
My Last Breath.
My Last Breath by Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Hawkeye from the Avengers.
Yes.
Hurt Locker, great fucking movie. No, but I was jokingly saying to you like a couple days ago, I was like, oh, let's do the topic on like life after death, or like death. Wait.
Yeah, life after death.
Is that right? I mean, do you believe in an afterlife, or do you believe in heaven, or do you believe in like, do you think something happens to us after we die? But I just thought it was really interesting because like, usually when people die and then they come back, they either see their life flash before their eyes, or they say that they see like this bright light that they were walking towards. And listening to Jeremy Renner describe, because he died for a short amount of time while he was waiting for,
like, probably a few seconds.
I can't remember if it was like a few seconds. I don't think it was that long because he didn't have any brain damage from it or anything. That's the issue. If you die for too long, the oxygen gets cut off from your brain and then you have brain damage. But he talked about how he's like, it's nothing that we've ever experienced here on Earth because we have like sight and smell. And he was like, I don't know. I don't want to ruin this, but like how he described it, he was like, it was just love.
Yeah.
He was doing an interview that I also saw, and he was talking about, he's like, all the people that have been in your life that have meant something to you, it's just like you're surrounded by them, and it's not that you see them. It's just you feel it or something. I don't know. And the way he was describing it was just, he said, he was like, I'm not afraid of dying now. Like I'm like not afraid of it at all because of that experience, which I think is really like, I don't know, I just think that's really cool, and I wanted to, I don't know, talk to you about it. And what do you think, and what do you think happens after you die?
I mean, on one hand, I'm like, it would be so nice if you just get to rest. You know, like you just get to rest. But on the other hand, I saw this video that was about like 2 twins in the womb, and the other one of them was like, oh, imagine like after this, when you're born, you're gonna have this whole life and you're gonna be able to walk and talk and eat food and do all that stuff. And the other twin was like, no, that's not gonna happen. This is it. This is life. Like, this life in the womb, that's all we get, you know? And I'm just like thinking like,
that's a really interesting point of view and like perspective of
and I was like, well, what if there is something else? Like, what if this is just the second step of multiple steps in the universe, you know?
You know, I think it was one of the, I don't know if you sent me this video, but it's like when the sperm enters the egg. And
I sent you that, yeah.
And there's that spark that they were able to.
There's a spark of life.
Yeah, they were literally able to like document that, that amazing thing that happens when
Yeah.
the sperm enters the egg. There's literally like an electrical pulse that happens. And I think that is
Sorry.
literally like, I literally think that spark or that electrical pulse is like our souls being birthed at that moment. Like then, and we have this electricity inside of us, this energy that I think when you die, that doesn't just disappear. I think I don't know, it becomes one with the universe, or it goes into the universe.
Yeah.
And so I think that has something, I don't know, I can't talk when you're
do you
worried
remember
about the mic.
do you remember the movie Soul?
Soul, like the airplane movie?
No, the animation movie.
Oh yeah.
Don't make fun of it. You know how old souls come back to like teach the new souls how to like to prepare them for life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought of that movie when you talked about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not thinking that to like try to make myself feel better about death. That's not it. I just think, I don't know. I think something does happen. And I know this sound, cuz like I claim to be like religious. But I guess it would be, you can consider it to be heaven, but do you have another cord?
I do not have another cord. I'm not even like moving, and it's just like.
Well, it's clearly your plug-in. Should we pause and figure that out?
I have some questions that I want us to discuss.
Okay, go. Shoot.
Okay. Ooh. Do you want to do like relationship, or do you want to do like career?
Either or. Just read a question. Let's go.
Okay. What do you value most in your partner?
What do I value most in my partner? I would say the thing I value most, I guess, with you is like the sense of, I don't know how I'd word this. Like I feel safe with you. Like I feel like I can be my complete, like, authentic self with you, and I'm not worried at all about being judged by you.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know, there's a lot of things, you know, that's hard to like boil it down to like what, like the one thing, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess that mainly because my whole life I've been so insecure about like how weird I am, and I've always masked certain parts of me around different people. Like some people can handle it, some people can't, so I feel like I have to turn certain things up for myself and then turn certain parts of myself down. And so I'm just like this, I feel like I'm always like slightly different from how I fully am, you know. And then with you, it's just like I don't need to do any of that.
Maybe
Sorry.
you need to stop kicking this because it's.
Sorry. So I feel like with you, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Other than when I hit my knee on the stool, I have to turn that part of myself down with you now. So.
Shut up. I'm not doing anything right now.
I think our mic is about to blow up.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's snowing. Hold on. I guess we need to get new microphones now. We have to get a whole new system.
Yeah, we do.
So.
I mean, we kind of did have to do that anyway, so I guess this is just a podcast telling us to get onto it.
So we're going to go down to one episode a month now.
If you
Okay.
just look at, like, do you see how low my voice is compared to yours?
You know that right there. You're doing it.
Okay.
Fine.
Well,
Okay. So
listen, guys, the audio might be completely fucked on this episode, but you guys just have to deal with it.
No, just don't listen. Just turn it off.
Just turn it off.
Okay. So you answer the question now.
I feel what I value most in you is, I think you're the first person I've ever been in a relationship where I completely, like, trust you 100%. Like, I know you would never do something intentionally to hurt me. And I know that, like, if you go off and film a movie for a month, or like when you were filming BDB and you were gone for 2.5 months, like, I know that I can trust you to not, like, I can trust you 100%, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think it's so funny because I heard this one quote when someone was like, people that are so secure in their partner, their only fear is for them to pass away. Like, that's the only thing that you're scared of, because you know that person won't go away and cheat. You know that person won't do anything, like, intentionally to hurt you. The way they can hurt you the most is literally by dying.
Which I will at some point.
No, you're not. You're not.
Well, I love you.
We'll go into the afterlife together.
I trust you too. I saw a thing saying by 2050, scientists were saying this, by 2050, they're thinking that they're going to, like, be able to, like, cure, like, death. Yeah. There was, like, a list of all these things that they were saying that is probably going to happen. Like, they're going to be able to artificially grow, like, organs.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna possibly be able to do, like, transplants of, like, your conscious into
artificial
well, into, like,
conscience.
no, like, they're gonna be able to take your brain or something and, like, download it into the cloud, or they're gonna be able to do, like, a transplant of your brain into a younger body. And then there was, like, you're gonna be mixing with like, almost like cyborgs, like half human, half robot. Like, there was like a whole list of all these things that they're saying they're going to be possible probably by 2050.
Yeah.
And I was asking, I think I even said to you, I was like, would you want to do that if that ever became an option? And it's like, it's weird because it's so against, like, how we were raised in our family. It's like you grow old,
yeah,
and then I
feel like people won't value life as much.
I know, but, like, think about,
like, YOLO won't have its meaning anymore.
Well, I think that was a stupid saying anyways, but YOLO. No, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like, it takes away of, like,
but that's the thing too,
living in
I'm
the
like,
moment. And
yeah, and that's the thing too, of like, first of all, I think when that becomes available, it's gonna be so expensive that we probably won't even be able to afford it, you know?
No, we will. We're gonna be rich as fuck.
But also, I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be so hard to live if your family around you is not able to do that.
No, I know.
You know?
That's the other aspect. Like, the reason why it intrigues me is because there's this, like, part of my brain where I think back, like, when I was younger, of, like, when I used to play video games and stuff. Like, I played all these different games. Like, I can't even fucking remember some of them, but, like, there was one I think called, like, Mass Effect, where you, like, traveled in space and stuff, and you went to all these different, like, galaxies and planets, and you saw all these different, like, alien life forms and, like, these different cultures. And there's, like, this part of me be like this explorer part of me. It's like, it would be cool to be, like, half cyborg, and you're able to live, like, for hundreds of years, and you would be able to go see all the different technological advances, and, like, and, like, travel the stars and all the different galaxies. Like, there's, like, that part of me that thinks that, which I think would be cool. But then there's the part of me where, like, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, and like I want to grow old with you, and I want to pass all of the things I've learned to like our children and their children, and I want to do those things as well. But then there's like this like adventure explorer side of me that's
But that's the thing. I feel like doing time traveling would be cooler than living for a really long time. You know?
Yes and no, because I mean, what do you mean? Like we just travel to the future, see how it is, and come back?
Yeah.
I know, but what if something happened and you can't come back? Like that I think would be more terrifying, being stuck in a timeline that's
True.
not yours.
True.
You know, that would, I just feel
no,
like,
but okay, not travel to, but like just like be able to observe it, but like nobody can see you. Like you're there, like mentally.
I mean, of course that would be cool, but of course that would be cool, but.
I remember my teacher when I was little. He always believed that in the future, you would be able to like put a chip in your brain that would like give you knowledge. So like you had a chip for math, you have a chip for, I don't know, languages. You had a chip for, so like you could have different chips in your brain.
Yeah. I mean, they've already made this.
Have they really?
Well, Elon's Neuralink.
Oh yeah.
Is already like they're in like a lot of stages of development of like, so for instance, there's one guy that
this is what my teacher was talking about 20 years ago.
Yeah. There's one guy in particular who's paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I think he's paralyzed from the neck down, and maybe I think he has maybe some movement on. No, I think he's paralyzed from the neck down, if I'm not mistaken. But he was one of the first trial people for the first Neuralink. Like they've done multiple like more advanced ones now, but he said it brought life back to him because he had this big monitor that was like hooked up to the Neuralink in his head, and he would be able just to look and think about like click here, go here, type this. He was thinking it, and it was doing it on the screen.
That's crazy.
It's fucking super crazy. And then there was another thing that I saw where someone was hooked up to something, and then they were hooked up to a computer screen, and they would sit there and they would be like, think about a unicorn, and they would like draw it in their eyes, their mind's eye, and it would draw on the screen what they were thinking. And it's fucking crazy. It is so crazy. And I mean, that's like, these are early development stages of this. And I think also what Elon's doing with like the Neuralink stuff, it's like, I think eventually he wants to be able to, like when someone breaks their neck and the connection in their brainstem, I'm just like saying stuff, I'm not even sure if this is like the correct scientific term, but when that connection is broken, he wants to figure out like how to reconnect that with like the Neuralink or whatever the science.
Like if you're like paralyzed?
Yeah, to like get mobility back in your body.
That's cool.
Like there's a lot of amazing things that it could possibly be doing, you know?
And they still haven't released a cure for cancer.
Well, those Korean scientists just released a thing where they figured out how to turn cancerous cells back into healthy cells. And I think they were doing that in animals, but that's fucking huge.
That's huge, yeah.
Because one of the biggest problems with cancer is that when you do the most common treatment like chemotherapy, it's and radiation, well, it kills the cancer cells, but it also kills all of your good cells.
Yeah.
So it literally destroys your body.
Yeah.
And if you manage to survive all of that, it's like you're never gonna really be your full self after that. I mean, like, obviously there's people that come back like stronger and stuff, but it's it's just a very, I think a very primitive way to deal with it, but I don't know.
Do you want to jump to the next question?
Yes.
I have my these are my notes that I use at work.
With a little hole in it?
Yeah, because they're hanging on a pattern hook.
You can put your little... So
I write like notes. And I wrote one thing down the other day. And then I just started writing other stuff this morning. Okay. What do you offer in a romantic relationship, and would you be happy to receive it?
What do I offer in
Yeah.
the romantic in our romantic relation? Just like purely physical and romantic?
No, not doesn't have to be physical. It could just be like anything. What do you offer in a relationship, and would you be happy to receive it yourself?
What do I offer?
It could be multiple things. You offer a stomach.
I offer in a romantic relationship.
I know one that's like pretty clear cut.
What?
You offer cleaning services.
Oh, okay. I'm like thinking differently.
No, I know you. That's what I'm saying. Like it could be mentally, it could be physically, it could be, you know.
Yeah. I was thinking like my mind went like more dirty.
Oh.
Yeah.
How dirty?
Like,
wait, how dirty?
like sexual dirty. And I was thinking of all the things I offer. I was like, this is a long list. I'm good. I'm really good. No, well, I feel like I'm very what was the question?
What do you offer in a romantic relationship?
I don't know how to put this into words.
Well, let's try. Give me anything.
I don't know. I feel like I'm really good at like taking care of you.
Yeah.
You know, like I like to take care of you. I like to do things for you. It makes me feel good to make you feel like you're taken care of. I get a huge boost of confidence when I'm able to just take care of everything.
Yeah.
Like when I can pay for all the bills and I can take you out to eat and you don't ever have to think about paying for anything. Like I love that. That makes me feel like a man. That makes me feel like a man.
You're a man.
Yeah.
And would you be happy to receive it yourself?
I hate it when you try to pay for stuff. I honestly hate it. Like, and it's not even.
It makes me feel good because I feel like that's my way of like giving back. But
yeah.
It's good to know that you hate it.
If
I'll stop.
The best way to give back to me is if you scratch my back.
Okay.
Literally, when I'm doing the dishes and you come up behind me and scratch my back, like I told you the first day.
I mostly do that when you're brushing your teeth, though.
Yeah, but I like it whenever you do it. It's awesome.
I got the magic scratching hands.
But it's not that I hate. I don't know. I get like anxiety. Like I
want to scratch your back?
No, when we go out to eat and if like you try to put your card down, I know it's like something stupid with me and I don't really know why I get like this, but it's like I feel like
you can provide.
Well, I feel like that, and then I feel like people are gonna be like, "Oh, look at that punk ass bitch right there, just can't afford dinner or something." I don't know. Obviously nobody's looking at me and saying that, but that's what I feel like. Yeah. And maybe there's something wrong with me.
But I think it's like you love being in that masculine energy of being like the provider.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I saw that was like every relationship has to have the masculine energy and the feminine energy, and if the man is not producing the masculine energy, the female will start bringing out the masculine energy. Like, but I feel like you also have a lot of feminine energy when it comes to taking care of yourself and taking care of the house. You know? Yeah. Where my feminine energy is like cooking, grocery shopping, keeping list of what needs to be done with the animals, and keeping tracks of like our stuff, you know?
Yeah. You're good like
keeping our social calendar.
Yeah.
Social.
Yeah. And I like to try to cancel stuff.
But I feel like we have found our roles in this relationship where it's like you provide the stuff that you like to provide but not necessarily like to receive, and I do the stuff that
I like to receive.
Yeah, that you like to receive and that I like to provide. Mm-hmm. And I don't, because like if you're when you're cooking, you kind of stress me out.
Why?
I don't know, because I feel like I need to have that control. Like I feel like it's maybe the same like as when I try to pay for stuff. Like I get like, you know, like I can't, why am I not doing this? Like why can't I do that, you know? Because I like stepping into that role of being like the house maker, you know?
Yeah. I feel like when I cook, the mess is less. And I clean up as I go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you cook, the food is always fantastic. But I feel like the mess is like, it feels like a bomb went off in the kitchen. And I'm just like.
Because I cook with love.
Yeah. And.
Love is messy, okay?
And you. It's, yeah.
Yes.
I just wish you didn't cut stuff or did stuff over the cracks of the countertops, like especially
in between, are extra spicy.
In between the oven and then like the cutting board and the sink. Like you like to do
you
things.
You make me sound like I'm the messiest person alive.
I mean, you're pretty messy. You're not as bad as when we first met. You know, you've gotten a lot better, but you're messy. But I don't know. I picked this up from my mom. My mom is like super OCD clean, and like my sisters were really messy. And so that was stressful to live with them and share a bathroom with them. Like, and I just never wanted to live in that, you know, like, cause it was like my mom or me would clean the bathroom or the house, and then the girls would come home and it was like nothing. It didn't matter. It was like a fucking bomb went off. Like, every time. And like she would get so stressed. She's like, can we not keep the house clean for just a couple hours? And then I find myself saying that same thing to you. I'm like, I'm happy you're home, but I clean the house really good today, like everything.
And then I open up this drapes and I take everything out, and it's I can see everything that you've done when you get home. It's like you were over here and you did a little bit of stuff over here and you left all of it out. I spread my love.
And then you're over here and a little bit of stuff. And I'm just like,
baby, love is messy.
I know. I wish you'd
No,
pick up after yourself.
I know for a fact that if you were that messy, I would go insane.
But it's also something that I want to get better at. Sorry. It's also something I want to get better at, because I know when we have kids, it's going to be like...
It's going to be messy.
Yeah, it's going to be messy. And it's like,
yes, we can tidy up the house every evening.
Yeah.
But like during the day, it's going to be messy.
Well, you've sent me these videos before, and I come across them all the time on social media, where it's just like, it's like this sad song playing, and it's like these two parents that are like the messes and all of the craziness of having children. You're gonna miss
like
one
all
day.
All the fingerprints on the windows.
Yeah, like you're gonna miss one day when they move out and it's you're in an empty house that's clean or something.
Yeah,
I get it. Like I fucking get it. But I also I associate my space to like my mental state. Like if I'm in a cluttered space, my mind is cluttered. Like I find that when everything's clean and tidy, I feel like I'm more clear-headed.
I feel exactly the same. But I also feel like it's so hard for me to be creative without having this area clean. Yeah. And to be able to have that area clean, I have to take everything out.
And honestly, like the days that you say, "Hey, I'm gonna sew," I'm like, okay.
You disconnect. You're like, I'm not here anymore.
Yeah. No, like I'm just like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch something and I'm gonna just be messy.
Not look at the rest of the living room.
Yeah, and I've gotten really good at that. But it's more so like when you're not planning on sewing that day and you go around and you make little messes. Yeah. Like, and I'm like stepping on hair claws and I'm finding socks and your slippers are stuffed into the couch. I'm like, why is this here? And it's so that
I'm giving you a trial run for kids.
No, but I think about that all the time. I'm just like, I know one day I'm gonna find one of our kids like drawing on the wall,
drawing on the couch.
Yeah, drawing on the couch, and I'm just gonna have to be like, that's what the couch looks like now. It's just we have crayons on it. There's a tree there now, you know. And I'm trying to like prepare myself for that, because I don't want to be anything like what I had, like what I grew up with, you know. Like I want to be like I want to be a really fun dad. I want my kids to be creative. I want to give them a space where they feel like they can express themselves, you
Yeah.
know? I don't want them to feel like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah,
Because
like stepping on eggshells because they don't want to upset.
Yeah, I want them to have manners, and I want them to be polite and
But you
not
want
little
them to be
assholes.
really creative.
Yeah, but I want them to be able to express themselves
Yeah.
in a safe way. You
Yeah,
know?
100%.
So
100%, baby.
yeah.
You want to do the next question?
Sure.
What insecurity has been holding you back lately?
What insecurity has been holding me back lately? What insecurity? I mean, I mean, this is just a constant thing with me, you know, like not feeling deserving of the things that I've gotten, and like not feeling like I have the capabilities to like accomplish the things that I want to do. You know, like, I mean, just like, it's just, there's moments where I feel very sure of myself, and I'm like, I feel very confident in my abilities, and I'm like, and those are usually times when I'm working a lot. Like, I have these bursts of like, I'll be on set a lot, I get into this groove, and I'm just like, I can fucking do this. Like, and I feel like I see all of my dreams and goals, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then like everything, it's like you finish that job, and then you're just auditioning, and then you don't have any auditions, and then you're in this space of just like not working, and then you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm not a fucking actor, I'm not acting, I'm not doing what I love. And then you start doubting yourself, and those start creeping in, and then you start thinking about your past projects, and you're like, I fucking sucked in that.
So is the insecurity then that you feel like you're not good enough?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you don't have enough experience, or is it that you feel like you're not at a level that you wish you were? Like you feel like you're falling behind?
It's none of those things. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's none of those things, and maybe it's a lot of those things. When I think on my experience, like, I've grown so much as a person. I know I have, but it's still like, it's just this deep-rooted insecurity that I have from when I was a child, that like I'm good at masking it and like pretending like I'm not insecure. Like, I've gotten really good at doing that, but like I'm constantly like always kind of second guessing myself, which I'm able to break that habit, thankfully, when I'm like working and doing, especially like when I'm acting and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like the last thing you want to be doing is like doubting yourself in a scene. Like, you don't even want to be you don't want to be thinking about that. You just want to be in the moment and like focused on your partner and the given circumstances and all that. But it's just it's the times when I'm by myself and I just have long periods of sitting alone, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I just start doubting myself, you know? And it's just like this constant wave that is coming to shore, and then it breaks, and then it goes back out, and then it's just like never ending. And I'm always going to deal with this, I think. And I think it just shows that I care about what I do, you know? But I don't even know if I answered the question. I just did doubting myself, I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
Did that not answer it?
I mean, the question is, what is an insecurity, like a specific insecurity that has been holding you back, like stopping you from doing something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like you answered it, but I feel like you answered it in a very wide way. So, like, is there anything you can pinpoint? Like, any specific insecurity that's been holding you back from doing a specific thing? Like, I'm not saying this like I know something. I'm just like asking. Like, it could be like, no, I don't feel like that. I feel like I have mostly just the overall thing, because I do feel like once you get opportunities to do something, you do them. Yeah,
I never follow through with stuff. I don't know. I mean, honestly, this sounds so weird to like say, but like I have like a fear of like public speaking.
Yeah.
Like I was so shy growing up, like terrified of like being in front of a crowd, being in front of an audience. And it's so weird because I'm fucking and I'm like,
and you're an actor.
yeah,
But I feel like that's a different thing though. Doing like acting in front of a camera, like I know I couldn't do it because I get super like camera shy when it comes to like talking. I know this doesn't make sense because we're doing a podcast with a video, but I feel like this is so intimate. But if it was like with other people watching, like if we had someone watching us right now doing this podcast, I would get like shy, you know? And I feel like that's a whole different thing than speaking in front of a bunch of people as like a public speaker.
Yes.
Like those are two completely different things.
I think it's I have thought that as well, but the more I mean, listen, when I'm on set, it's not just me and one person. Like, yeah, I'm doing a scene with one person. This actually brings up an interesting thing. But like, for instance, shooting the BDB, there was a couple scenes. There was just like so many people on set, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like I felt like it was to an audience almost, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're on set, there's like a shitload of people. It's not just who's in the scene. It's the cast. It's the entire crew that are sitting there. And typically,
cast and crew.
Yeah, and typically they don't give a fuck. They're just doing their job, and they're like just making sure that the lighting is good and that the sound is good, and everyone's doing their job.
They're focusing on their thing.
But still, though, when you see all these eyes around and you're doing this thing, it's like it's in front of people. But the difference with that is, I've gotten very good at focusing in on like, I'm supposed to do my job. It's like I'm doing a scene with the other actor or a couple actors or whatever the scene is, and I'm whatever the given circumstances, and I just have complete focus on what's
happening in the scene.
Yeah, the task at hand or whatever's happening, and that helps me block everybody out.
Yeah.
Now, I would imagine when you're a public speaker, which I don't do a lot of public speaking, like almost zero, but I've done it. Like I've done panels with Passion Flicks. I've done when they had the Passionista Awards, and I had to go up and accept that award, like with Amy, of course. But like, I fucking this like fear that I had as a child, like it was almost the exact same thing. Like. Yeah. I did a talent show in like first grade, and I fucking blacked out on stage. Not that I passed out. I just stood there and I stared at an auditorium of students from like kindergarten up till like 6th or 7th grade or 6th grade or something. And I just blanked out and stood there for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And going up to do to accept the award thing, like same thing happened. I started talking to the mic and I don't remember what I said. I just like blankly stared out into the audience and said stuff, and then I have no recollection of what I said, which I hate that part of me that happens. Yeah. Like it makes me so mad because but going back to, I think there's a technique that that can translate from when I'm doing scenes like on camera. That hyper focus I have, the hyper focus I have on like my scene partners, if I just translate that out to not necessarily the audience, but just outwards. Yeah. Like focus in on points and then just say what I want to say, and like almost treat it like a scene. I think there's like a way to like be locked in and break out of that blank fight or flight mode that you can go into when you're fear. But
because I also remember like earlier in our relationship, for example, like when you did American Boogie Woman, I remember you were like, oh, I felt like I was so nervous in like the first 2 weeks that we were filming, but then at the last week you were like, I felt more comfortable, and I wish I was like that from the start. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every project you've done, the period of nervousness has gone shorter and shorter and shorter to now it just feels like it's like the first hour of the first day. And I feel like just that is like a huge growth in just like when it comes to like public speaking, because basically that is what you're doing. You're speaking in front of an audience, which is not an audience because it's crew, but So I feel like that's something that you're constantly like growing out of.
Yeah.
And I don't think that like being nervous is necessarily bad. I do think that that's a good thing as well, because that means that you really care about the project and you want to do your best, you know? And like being a little bit nervous keeps you on your toes.
No, and I agree. I think nerves are you can use them to your advantage.
Yeah.
But there's like this fine line for me in certain circumstances that it's like, and I'm sure because I know you said that you had trouble public speaking as well and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, when your heart starts racing and then your mind is racing and you almost like it's kind of like you get tunnel vision, or like you don't feel like you're aware of your surroundings. Like you just feel like you're so caught up in your heart, just like
you feel like you're gonna throw up.
It's not that I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
That was me.
For me, it's not. It's just like my heart is literally pounding through my chest, and it mainly happens if I'm doing public speaking. Like when we were doing the Passion Flicks panels in Puerto Rico, like I was like third to last down the row of guys, and when they were asking us questions, like they were going down the row for us all to answer the question, and every time the mic got moved down one more time, I was just like, fuck, like my hands are sweating, my feet are sweating, my heart's pounding, and then I get the mic and then I said a few words and then I felt completely fine.
Yeah.
But it was like
it's
like
just
that
like
lead
getting
up.
over that bump.
Yeah.
You just like, oh shit, like my stomach feels like it's gonna turn itself inside out.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just gonna word vomit, like, and then you get the mic and you're just like nothing comes out, and you're just like, I just need to get over that hump of like.
Yeah. And I don't know if you do this, but do you think of like my biggest thing that I want to work on is like stop thinking of all the
things
bad outcomes that could happen and start thinking of all the good outcomes that could happen from it, because that's what I will obsess over, like in that moment leading up to it. I'm like what if I just what if my voice starts cracking, or like what if I say something really fucking stupid that gets me in trouble, or what if, and I'm like saying what if, and then I get the mic and then I just start talking.
I feel like for me it's more about like, what if I say something that's not correct and then someone corrects me.
Yeah.
Because I get so embarrassed when that happens. I'm getting used to it now, because you always correct me with names and words and stuff, and Hannah always corrects me in our podcast, and I'm like, fuck. But I remember this one part, which I think is the cause of that, is we were being taught English in middle school, and we were practicing the alphabet, and I think I mentioned this before, but they wanted you to spell out your name in English. And, you know, my name is pretty long compared to everybody else in that class. I was, like, pretty mad that I had 8 letters I had to know. And I started spelling it out, and I was like, M-I-C-H-O-E-L. Because H is H in Swedish. So I was like, oh, it's ho. And my teacher was like, no, that's not it. And I got called out in front of the whole class, and I was so embarrassed. Like, I was so embarrassed, and she was like, no, it's H, it's not ho. And I feel like after that I was like, I'm never speaking English again.
I know, but like I obviously, yeah, you're a kid and you're learning. First of all, you're learning a new language. I think like giving yourself that
I was like 11, I think.
I know, but like you're learning another language.
Yeah.
So, and that's something I wanted to be better about, not correcting you like on words. Like sometimes like I'll just let you go and not correct you.
Sometimes I know I say stuff and I'm like, oh, that wasn't the right grammatically correct word, or like grammatically correct way of saying that word.
There's like little things
because I'm also like I feel like I'm so quick to speak sometimes that I'm like I don't think about the correct sentence of saying it, you know.
But I think it doesn't come across as stupid. Like it comes across as that you know 2 languages and English is your second language.
Yeah.
And it's just, for instance, like right now when you said how you said new instead of no,
Yeah,
like those little tiny mistakes, like that's something.
It's not like I say it like I don't know. I do know. I just like it goes like my brain is like on speed.
Yeah. Well,
when I'm speaking English.
Well, the thing that's interesting is I remember you were talking about how there was a point that you stopped thinking in Swedish and you started thinking in English. Like, to me, thinking about that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if I've always thought in English, but if I started speaking another language and then learned it so well that then that inner dialogue changed, like say if I got really good at Swedish and then I started thinking Swedish, like that's seems like if I wanted, it's trippy, right? Yeah, if I wanted to experience being in somebody else's body, that's like the closest thing I could. I mean, other than like inhabiting characters or whatever, but like I'm talking about like in my mind, like if I started thinking in Swedish, that would be fucking trippy. Yeah. You know? And so the fact that you do that, I think, is like giving yourself like some leeway and just, I mean, it's because it doesn't come across as stupid. It's like it just sounds like English is your second language. Sometimes you barely, people don't even really hear your accent much anymore. You've gotten so good at speaking. I kind of get offended
now when people say, I could hear they're like, you're not from here, right? And I'm like, no, I'm from Sweden. They're like, yeah, I could hear like a tiny bit of an accent. I'm like,
I wouldn't. Why would that be?
I don't know. I don't know because I felt like when I first moved here, I heard so many people being like, "Oh my God, I had no idea you were like not from the U.S." Because they're like, I can't hear an accent, and I'm like, I'm getting more of an accent now than when I first moved here. You know?
I think also you were probably just dealing with like college kids too and stuff. Like they're just younger and stupider. I don't know. But
college.
But no, I mean like my dad's been in the country longer than he was in Poland, and he still says he does things that you do. Like your English is fucking 1,000 times better than my dad's, but there's things that he does that he like he swaps things around and he says words like he would say what you just did about the new instead of no, like he does that, but he doesn't correct himself. He just says things wrong.
Yeah, but I mean sometimes you just like, fuck it, do you know what I meant?
yeah but that's, I don't know, I think coming from an American perspective, it's like we always, like when we see people that know multiple languages, we're like, we think that's cool. You know, like we never, I for me at least, I don't see someone that's speaking there's a foreign language and when I see them mess up with words, I'm not like, idiot. I would never say that. I know one language. It's so funny
because like I know as like at least a person that knows two, like I speak fluently 2 languages, and I see like these videos when someone's like, you get criticized by your English, but then you know that that's not your native language, and it's like, bitch, you only knew 1 language. Like you can't criticize me.
Yeah. No, yeah,
which I think is really funny, but
yeah. It's I would never worry about that. But those are like, for instance, like that experience you had, and it's, I'm sure you still think about that, how you felt in that moment.
Yeah.
Now if you were in that moment, it wouldn't even faze you because you know how to spell your name, you know?
No,
like
I still believe that H is ho.
Okay, well, no, but like I think I still think back on that when I did the talent show in my elementary school in like first grade, and like we went up it was me and my 2 best friends, Steven at the time, and I've said this story before, but it's like we went up to do like the Itsy Bitsy Spider rap or something, and it was like, it wasn't even that we were singing it, there was a track playing, and it was like,
you were like miming it.
Well, no, we were like miming it, but also saying it. We're like, the Insy Bitsy Spider crawled down the water spout, down came the rain. But we're also dancing. Like, that's what we practiced. It's fucking crazy.
That's
like,
so cute.
And then
Is there any videos of this?
No. There's no. My family didn't have like a recorder. I don't even know. I think my mom was just there. But
I would have killed to see that.
But yeah, like the teacher right before, she was like, she saw how nervous I was, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't go out there. And there was like a girl that I had a huge crush on. I forget her name, but she was like in the front. And I remember being like, I can't do this. Just like my heart racing, blacking out.
How old were you?
I don't know. I think I was like in first grade.
So how old are you then?
Probably maybe
8?
6 or 7.
Okay, that's young.
Because I think in kindergarten you're like 5.
Okay.
I don't know. I was young, but the teacher was like, just pretend everybody has underpants on their head.
I never understood that. I never understood when they're like, when you're like supposed to do something in front of an audience and you're like, pretend that everybody's naked.
Well, I think because that's like, if you think of a common fear that people dream about, is that you go to work and you're at work and then you're like, oh no, I'm naked, and everyone's laughing at you.
Never been my fear.
Okay, well that's like a common like.
I feel like that's a common American fear.
No, but I mean it's a common. I don't know if this is the correct like a common trope, or maybe that's a wrong way to use that word, but like a common thing for kids, like they show up to school in their underpants but it's in their dream, and everyone's like ha 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 ha, and they're like and they're all freaked out, you know. Like that's like so saying that the audience is naked or the audience has underpants on their head, it's like you're making the audience they should be embarrassed, you know. So it gives you the power in being out
to
there.
laugh at them. Yeah, I got it.
That's what she was trying to do, but that made me more confused.
Yeah.
And then
you're like, I don't want to see these people in their underpants.
Well, I was just like, they don't have underpants on their head though. And I'm still scared. And then so I just froze.
You're like, now I'm just scared and confused.
Yeah. No, but it was like, but I still think back on that moment, like how I just didn't do anything. I just sat there and I looked at the audience and just froze.
Yeah.
And so that always freaks me out. Like I don't ever want that to ever happen to me again, which it never would, but
we'd never, like my class, I know my brother did a lot of like talent shows with his class in middle school and everything. I never did, but I have clearly I take joy in remembering my brother's talent shows because first of all, my brother he tried a bunch of different sports when he was little. Like literally anything you can think of, he has tried. Mm-hmm. And one of those things was ballet.
Ballet.
I know.
It's just funny how you said it. You're like ballet.
Ballet.
How long did he do ballet for?
I don't know, but he did do a show. So long enough to do a show.
That's crazy.
Do you want to know what he...
The Nutcracker?
No, do you want to know what character he played? He played a tree.
That's cool.
He was a tree. That's how good he was.
Yeah. Did he have to actually like do any moves, or did he just walk out as a tree?
He just stood there as a tree.
Did he have ballet shoes on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I
think he was like very little. I think he was like maybe 6 or 7.
That sounds more like theater, but
it was ballet.
Yeah.
And then he did a talent show in middle school, which I actually remember, and I think we have video of this. And he loved the song that's like yeah,
that's the final countdown.
Yes. And he knew that like the intro, he knew that on the keyboard. And he had 2 friends. I mean, he had multiple friends, but he had 2 friends in middle school who were twins. Mm-hmm. And he was going to perform this song with the twins.
Like singing or?
No, just playing the intro in the talent show. But since there couldn't be 3 people on the keyboard, they had to do it 2 and 2. So it was like my brother comes out with 1 twin. They do the intro. They have like these fast glasses on and do and that's it. And then there's a break. And then there's a second act. And he comes out with the other twin. And they do and everybody was like so confused because they were like, these are the same people doing the exact same thing again. But it was like 2 different twins.
And they didn't know?
I mean, I think they knew, but people were just confused because the twins were like identical. Like
that's kind of like, it's what's funny about it is it would be interesting if they both were out there because they're both identical.
Yeah.
But instead they just
Michael.
they just like,
because I think he was like the one that was like slightly better on the keyboard.
Yeah, but it's just funny. That's funny.
And I'm just like, we have so many videos of like Michael doing performances as a kid.
Yeah, that's like, good though. He was trying to figure out what he liked, and yeah, I think that's really good.
Yeah.
But there was something that I was thinking about, and that's funny though. I want to see. I feel like I've seen that video. I feel like you guys showed me that.
I feel like we have it on a cassette or something somewhere.
Because I'm like seeing Michael with the glasses. Like I feel like I've seen something. Yeah. That.
I think I've told you that story before too.
Yeah.
But
damn it, there was something that I was thinking about. Go back a little bit to like what else we were talking before the talent show?
Speaking in front of a crowd.
No.
Underpants. Speaking English, speaking multiple languages.
Nope, I lost it. It's okay.
Thinking in different languages.
It's okay.
Okay, next question. What would you like from me when you're upset? Like if you're upset, how would you want me to react and support you in that moment?
I don't know. I feel like we handle our stuff fairly well, and we've been growing to be better. But like, honestly, I wish you could differentiate between when I'm upset and when I'm just like very excited about something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like talking loud, and then you think I'm yelling, and it's just because
you are.
Yeah, but it's like it's more of like, think of me as a little kid that just like learned something, and I have to say it, and like, or I'm just like very passionate about what I'm saying, and I forget to like check my vocal range. I understand.
You have a very strong voice.
Oh yeah, I have some pipes on me.
You have some pipes.
Yeah.
Like I thought I had pipes, but you have pipes because they're like deep and loud.
Yeah, I can go low in my voice, and I can talk real low, and I can go high.
Okay. No, that's not what I'm saying. Like I'm saying more like you have volume.
Yeah.
Like you can speak and sing in like a volume that I can't even.
I've yelled in people's faces at the bars, like back when I was a stupid idiot, that like I've stopped people with my voice because like I feel like there's like a boom that comes out of
yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck out of my face, like, and that's me not yelling because I don't want to scream into the mic. But like I feel like I could push with my
you do, and I think it's because you're really pushing from like
my diaphragm. I don't even know how to.
You're pushing from your asshole.
What is that from? That was funny. That was good.
No, but you have extreme volume when you're loud.
Thank you. I want to learn. I think I use my diaphragm, but like I've never actually worked with. I mean, I kind of worked with a vocal coach on BDB a little bit, but I want to actually work with somebody that like teaches you how to like really work from your diaphragm, you know. And maybe I do it, I just don't realize it. But I fucking remembered what I was gonna say previously.
Okay, go for it.
No, but then I forgot it again.
God damn it!
Because I started talking about because you said
talked about
talking
asshole.
From my asshole. Oh God.
It's okay. We're gonna get back to it. It's gonna come back to you.
No, I don't think so. I think I lost it forever. Okay, keep going.
No, but what do you want me to do? What can I do when you're upset? Like, what do you want from me? Do you want me to
I think
start looking for the right questions to ask?
No,
do you
because
want me
I
to
think
solve
you're
it?
no,
do you want
you're
me
very
to...
patient with me. You're very patient with me. I think I'm at the point of my journey in life right now where I'm really trying to figure out
what you want.
Well, there's just things that I like. There's things that I need to chill out about.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance about like the house being tidy, you know, like there's just little things that I want to not trigger me to be like aggravated, you know? And it's just frustrating because I find myself in the heat of like I start fixing things because the dogs are running around and fucking up everything, and then I'm just like, why am I like upset right now? Like I'm
like when Lucy has zoomies and you get mad at her for
Well,
having zoomies and messing
I don't
up all the
always know. Sometimes I
pillows.
cause the zoomies, but it's more so that like I clean the whole house and then she'll get them at like random moments, and like there's the blanket, like she literally rips the blankets off everything. The pillows are everywhere. Our
couch is everywhere.
And so that stresses me out a little bit. But
she's a little tornado when she gets going.
Yeah, but she's a good girl. But no, I want to be better about that because one, I know when we have kids, it's gonna be chaos in here.
Yes.
And I just don't want that. It's just like life is too short to be getting upset about stupid stuff like that. No, but
that's true.
Going back to your question, I think you handle me pretty well. You know, with what I'm giving you, you handle me pretty well. If anything, I need to be better about just the way that I respond and react to things.
Yeah.
And it's been a constant struggle. Sometimes I feel like I have it under control and sometimes I don't. Like I don't know why I get so I just get so upset sometimes.
Okay, so if we flip the question, what is something that I should not do when you're upset? Like, is there anything that I do that you're like, okay, please think about this?
Well, when we get into an argument, or when we're about to get into an argument,
yeah,
you yell
because you're yelling already.
No, there's been a couple times. Hold your fucking horses. There's been a couple times where we're not even like, it's more so we're doing something, and then I do something that like I either get in your way or I annoy you, and then you start yelling, and I'm already been on edge kind of all day. And then once you yell, then I yell louder than you. And then you're just like, why are you yelling right now? You do that. And I'm just like, you fucking yelled first. I was like, you yelled first. You started the yelling.
No, you started yelling.
But but again, though, it's like, it just goes back to like, I think you and I, we always work out when we have an issue. Like we never really leave it untreated.
Yeah.
We're both good at like forgiving.
Yeah. Sometimes
you will say sorry when you have no business saying sorry, and I'm the one that's supposed to say sorry.
Yeah.
And we've gotten good at making up when we fight, but I find so much of my dad in me during the day that it's like I don't, obviously I probably need to like speak to a professional about it. But I also like don't
a therapist?
But I also don't like therapists because I don't like sitting and wallowing in fucking your past and
yeah, but I feel like going like
paying a person
from now to end of eternity, yeah, that's one thing, but like going a couple of times, like say give it like 5 times.
Yeah, you know how much money that is? 5 times?
Yeah, I know.
$75 an hour to a person being like, and why do you think you do that?
But I think they're also asking the right questions.
But how does that make you feel?
Like that's the thing, because like I remember both my female cousins, Fanny and Isabella, they're both studying to be psychologists. And I know like even just having a conversation with them, first of all, my phone calls can last for hours with them. But they're also like, every time I talk to them about some kind of problem or some kind of issue, they're asking the right questions for me to be like, I didn't think about this, because they're asking like thought-provoking questions that you didn't even think about, and then you start seeing things from a different, like they're slowly shifting your perspective so you can like figure things out on yourself.
We all have the answers inside of us, and it's just we're not asking ourselves the right questions. I totally get that, but it's also sometimes.
But that's the thing, like you could have a bad therapist, that you just feel like, this person is just taking my money, but then you can also have a good therapist.
Yeah, of course, because I think talking is good, but
and I also think there's a difference between going to a therapist to like work something out within yourself versus feeling that you need to rely on this person to figure out all your problems for you. That's two different things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, those are all very good little takeaways from that. I just I think there's a part of me that like wants to do it on my own, you know, but it can be detrimental to like the relationships I have in my life, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like I've come a long way from where I was. That's like, I think the other point is like I've been always growing.
Yeah.
It's not like if I was just stuck how I was a couple years ago, like, and there was been no progress from that, then, and I acknowledge that there's a problem, but then I'm not doing anything to try to change it. I'm not changing any of the things in my life for hopefully for a different outcome. I feel like I've been constantly trying to figure out ways to like help me, and that's like a lot of the reasons with like all the different like supplements I've been trying and different ways of like eating and all this stuff, like hopefully that it will help with me mentally and like but I don't know. I know eventually, like I'm sure too in our marriage, like at some point, like most marriages, because of that show we watched, the seasons, the four seasons, which was a really great show on Netflix. If you haven't watched it,
kind of mad about how it ended.
Yeah, me too. But it kind of talks about all these different types of marriages.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's really what it's centered around, all these different types of relationships and the people's, how they work through their problems. And it was really interesting. And it kind of gave us a little perspective on our relationship and how we saw things that were like, oh, you do that. Oh, I do that.
Yeah.
And, and I think eventually we will have to do like probably marriage counseling down the road at some point if there's ever a problem that we can't fix on our own.
Yeah. I do feel like a lot of problems in marriage can be solved if you just are open to have the communication between each other and like checking in on the relationship. Like I feel like right now we're checking in on the relationship.
Yeah.
We're sitting here discussing things in our relationship. We're sitting here discussing things of what can I do for you? What can you do for me? What do I feel like is missing? What's been on my mind? Like, and I think just doing those, like, I'm not saying everybody needs to have a podcast with their partner, but just like sitting down and give yourself 15 to 30 minutes of just talking about like, without starting a fight, without coming at someone in an aggressive way, just sitting down and talking about like, and not even like, hey, I feel like you need to do this. Be like, literally just ask the question, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
You know, because that's going to open up conversations that they're going to be like, oh, I feel like you could do that. And then they can ask the same thing back.
Did you send me that thing on Instagram? About it was like an older guy talking about how to have like a successful marriage.
Maybe.
And it's like when you wake up in the morning, have the perspective of like, what can I do to make your day easier to your partner? Like that have that intention when you wake up, be like, literally, what can I do to help you have a better day today? You know? And that's, I think I'm changing the wording a little bit, but that's like the essence of what he was saying. And it's, and I think that's a really
good way to think.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's just like there's so many ups and downs in marriages, you know, like sometimes we get into this grind mode where you're working, I'm working, and we're just in this like routine of like we're just doing the same fucking routine every day, and then it's all of a sudden we're like, oh, like a month went by and like we didn't do anything for us, which I still think we always.
No, your mic. You're like so far away.
I still think we're pretty. Yeah, I still think we're pretty good about like we always have dinner together every night. We always, I mean, we'll get into these zones where we just watch stuff together, and we should probably be better about talking and checking in with each other.
Yeah.
But I tried to make a point, like you come home from work and I'm like, how was your day? Like we do that.
We always ask each other that.
But sometimes that could become really routine.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, now we're in this routine of like, you come home, you greet the dogs, I give you a kiss, I ask you how your day was.
And then we start dinner.
And then that can become so robotic that who knows, I feel like I'm always listening to you, but maybe in 3-5 whatever years down the road,
Yeah.
that could become robotic, where I'm just moving through motions,
Yeah, but I also feel like we both have such, like, our weeks. Like, yes, I can feel like my weeks are starting to look like a routine right now. And I mean, like, your weeks also looks like a routine right now when you're not working.
Yeah.
When you don't have any jobs, like, but that's the thing, because you are an independent worker, like, you're self-employed, your month to month is going to look different.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also a thing, because we're not really stuck in that kind of routine, so it kind of feels good too to have that, like, comfort of knowing that
We
when
have
you
those
come
little
home,
moments,
that when you come home, we're gonna ask, hey, how was your day? Because
Yeah.
that's still, like, that shows that you're still interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah, of course. And I never want to change that, obviously.
No.
I think that says a whole lot about your relationship, of how you greet your partner when they come home.
And I also I like the idea of that every night we have dinner together.
Yeah.
Like,
Or in the morning, like when you leave, I kiss you and I say, text me when you get to work.
and I never do.
She never does, and I always ask her.
And then I text him, like, 4 hours later. I'm like, yeah, I'm at work.
Yeah, but I have her on my location, so I see that she gets there. But
yeah.
But yeah,
It's just because, like,
so funny.
I talk to my parents every morning that I drive to work.
Yeah.
Like, I call them every morning. Either I'm driving to work or I'm driving to work out. And that's my routine. I call them when I'm in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get to work, I forget about texting you, because I'm like...
Yeah. No, but it's just funny. Every morning, I'm like, I kiss you goodbye. I say, drive safe. I'm like, text me when you get to work. And then you're just like, I will. And I'm like, text me when you get to work. When you're like,
promise me. I'm like, yeah, I will.
And then I'm just like, as soon as the door shuts, I'm like, she's not gonna text me. But I check to see when you get there.
Yeah.
But it's, but I think those little moments are really important. Like I think they're important. Like,
Yeah.
they're so important, and I'm happy that we do them.
Yeah.
And marriage is work.
Marriage is work.
Yeah. It's just like, you have to be intentional with it, and like sometimes you get caught up in the rat race of life, but like if you want to stay with your partner, like you just have to make it a priority.
Yeah. You both have to put time down to focus on the relationship.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
And also just growing together.
Yeah, and it's not easy. It's hard as fuck, but it's
also very, I want to say giving, but I know there's a different word for it.
Fulfilling?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. I
like that hard work is gonna pay off.
It's not just pay off. It's very comforting to know that I have a person in life that I'm like, that I can always rely on.
They feel safe with,
yeah,
and you feel trust with, and you feel
yeah. And to have that is like, I don't have to seek that in anything else. Like I don't have to seek that it's even with like my friends and stuff. Like I love all my friends, and I would do anything for them, but it's not the same thing that I have with you. It's like I don't know. It's just not, and to have that, it is so comforting. It does make me feel like I can do anything, but it's also, I don't know. I just think it's a really important thing to experience in life, and I feel bad for people that can't or haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
I want to keep talking. I don't want to stop.
I kind of want to do a pee break.
I have to piss so bad.
Then let's do a pee break.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
See you guys.
Hello?
Okay. Back. Pee break.
See,
Over.
I feel like you hear me better now.
That's fine. She feels that way.
I'm
Okay.
back. Okay. What I wanted to jump right into is, before we start this episode, I sent you a video on Instagram.
I didn't watch it.
I know, because I asked you not to. Could you pull that video up?
It's the last thing that you sent me?
Yes.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Wait, that last video?
Yes.
Oh, I did watch that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
When?
When I was
peeing
on the toilet.
I told you not to watch it.
Sorry. Okay, but I watched it. Did you want to play it?
Yes, I want to play it and then I want to discuss it.
Well, I mean, I don't think we don't need to play it.
I feel like you should play it. Because it's hard to talk about it if people don't know what we're talking about.
Well, hold on a second. Let me just try to from memory. So she was discussing how her whole life she always feels like she's on the move, looking forward, trying to do that next thing, and she doesn't feel like she really enjoys the present moment.
Not really.
That's literally what she says.
She said other things too.
No, that's literally what the whole thing is. She says
oh my God. Why can't you just play the video?
Because we don't need to play this girl talking.
Out on life because I am so hyper focused on work, my future self, my future
literally
life.
What I just said.
And I feel like I am sometimes missing out on the present moment. I have been this way all of my life, always kind of looking forwards, which is so great, but at the same time, I just feel a little lost. I feel confused. So half of the time I think I'm just like making myself busy and I'm like, does this even have a greater effect on my life?
That's all. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah. Love you guys. And if you're feeling this
Bye.
way.
Okay. Yes, that's pretty much what I just said to you. We didn't have to listen to her cry. Okay.
I like to listen.
I literally, when you sent that to me, I was just like, I was kind of annoyed with her.
Why?
Just her crying into the camera about that.
Okay. Well, you and I obviously had very different reactions to that video.
So the only thing, I mean, literally what I just said before this video, I didn't think we had to watch that because I literally just said what the video was about. It brings me to a point of actually what I wanted to discuss. Don't tell me to put my phone away.
Because I want to discuss this.
No, we are discussing it. We are discussing the video. You can talk, by the way. But there's literally a thing that I screenshot that is literally that video encapsulated in a better way than that girl just crying for like 4 minutes.
Well, I really related to that video.
Okay, say.
Because I feel like I'm kind of that person that I'm always trying to I'm always looking for the positive in things, and I'm always trying to push myself to be better and do better and blah blah blah, that I sometimes slow down and I feel like I'm not really enjoying the moment.
Well, it's not just that. It's that you think if you're busy doing something, then you're being productive towards your goals and dreams, and that's not always necessary. That's not always the case. Just because you're stretching yourself thin and you feel overwhelmed with things doesn't mean that you're actually moving closer to your dreams and goals.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But here's also the fine line of that is because if I don't do things, not only do I feel less productive, but I also feel more negative towards myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am very busy and very productive, I have a lot of things, I'm what is it called, juggling a lot of balls at the same time, then I feel like I am being more creative, and I'm sparking things in my head that I don't spark if I'm not doing enough things. Yes, I have a job, I have this podcast, I have a different podcast, I'm doing Pilates, I'm trying to sit down and sew more often, I'm trying to work on my mental creativeness of being on Pinterest and painting and writing things down. I'm journaling and I'm doing all of these things, and I feel like that keeps me going and wanting to push me forward. While if I spend a whole day on the couch, I'm gonna feel like shit because I'm gonna feel like I'm wasting that day.
Yeah, I mean, most people feel bad if you've spent a whole day on the couch. So
yeah.
But it's
the same with you and I, we go do something in the morning and then we come home, and I know you love to cancel. I know you love to cancel things and just be home.
I just like doing things.
But when you come and it's 1 a.m. or not 1 a.m., sorry, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and you just can we just sit down and watch a movie? That I hate doing, because then I feel like I'm not going to do anything for the rest of the evening because my levels of wanting to do things are gonna just sink.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is a different thing of what she was saying, but I do feel like I am pushing myself towards that future self that I envision, that I don't feel like I'm enjoying how far I've come, you know,
Yeah.
as a person and in my career and creativeness and with our relationship and with what we have, you know, like I don't feel like I appreciate it enough in a way.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, I don't know. It's,
What was your image?
well, I'm going to tell you, but I wanted we can talk more about this. I mean, the image that I was going to say is about this, but, I think it's just, I mean, it goes back to like, I guess, how you're raised. Like when we go to Sweden, it's like we're always doing something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have time to relax. Well,
let's build a house.
Well, no, it's like as soon as everybody
Let's build
sits
a porch.
down to relax, it's like, oh, time has opened up now to do a little project. We're gonna go
Let's paint a house.
We're gonna go paint a stool, and I'm just like, why? Why are we gonna paint all the stools? Like they're wood color already. Why are we gonna paint them a different wood color?
You're gonna sand them and you're gonna oil them.
Yeah, but see, that's fine to do, but I'm the type of person is like, I like to be productive earlier in the day. I get all I do my routines. I go work out. I go on my run. I go on my sauna, but I'm listening to something that I'm learning from. So I'm also getting like stimulated, like mentally, and then I'm also physically working myself out. And I push myself really hard for like 4 or 5 hours. Like I work out a long time, and then so when I come home, then I like to do my routine of like I do my skin, like I shower, do my skincare stuff. I eat something healthy. I take some more of my vitamins. That's part of my routine. I like to do my grounding pad. I'll stretch. And me sitting down and watching something is like, you look at it as like, oh, the whole day's over. But then I especially like to watch stuff by myself because I'm watching it as a perspective of an actor. So it's like, for me, that's not a waste of time, you know, or I listen to a podcast, or I listen to something, or I'm going over like BDB material or something.
Yeah.
I feel productive from all of that. But like me going out and meeting with friends and doing that, I've obviously get filled up from that. Like you want to like, I fill my cup up or whatever.
Yeah.
With that, but I don't necessarily feel productive from that. And it's not that I can go with or without that.
I think it's just like you and I, like spending time with friends, if it affects us in different ways, because when I'm spending time with friends, I'm always like bouncing ideas with people, and we're like discussing projects, and we're discussing like things that inspire us, and that sparks like new interest in me in an inspirational way that like charged me creatively. And like I don't feel like you really, like, of course you have that if you're like discussing movies or discussing film projects, absolutely, but
I treat it as this: when I go hang out with friends, I like think of like it as like, oh, all the things that I've learned, I'm gonna now try to like make it
teach them.
No, not teach them. I'm gonna make it into like a bit to be funny, to like, I don't know. I feel like I say a lot of things that I've like learned when I'm hanging out with friends, or things that I thought were interesting.
You're like a walking what is that book called?
Encyclopedia?
Yeah.
It's not really that, but going back to like, I mean,
going back to your picture.
Well, going back to that girl's video of her like crying about her life.
I don't think she's crying. Also, I do feel like she is on her period.
well, I
saw this video. It was like me literally starting my period, and this girl was like crying, and she was like, I can't do this. And then it was like me 3 days later, and she's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. When I see videos like that, it's like, first of all, she's an attractive woman. She's wearing a clean bathrobe. She just got out of the shower. Okay.
I didn't even notice what she was wearing.
Her hair's wet because she just took a shower. She has good skin. She has a good complexion. That means she's getting proper nutrients and food. And she's properly, like, she's drinking enough water. So I see all this stuff, and I see her crying about her life, about how she wishes that she enjoyed the moment more, and she feels like her life is just flashing before our eyes because she's so focused on her career and her work and her goals. And I'm just sitting there watching that, and I'm like, to me, I see a problem that she's having, and it's very simple. It's just like, just start like meditating, be more present when you aren't working, or try to be more present when you're working. Like, if it depends on what her career is, because she was not specific about that. I don't know what she's doing. Does she love her career? It kind of sounds like she doesn't, because she's crying about it. So maybe you need to do something that you love.
Yeah.
That way, when you're working, you're really doing something that you enjoy, and you can be present for it, and not just like this robotic person moving through the motions to get your job done. You know, like, so that's how I looked at it. I looked at it as like this girl crying that I could solve your problem in like 10 seconds.
See, I don't like that you do that.
Yeah, I know you don't, but I'm just, and I'm sorry.
So much hair on me.
But the thing that I screenshot a couple days ago, it says,
tell me.
Time feels faster as you grow older because your brain tends to record fewer new experiences. Novelty slows time, routines speed it up. So like, for instance, we're in this routine, like the past.
Wait, what's novelty?
Novelty is like a
new experience.
Well, new experience, but like a more memorable special thing. It's like special. Okay.
So like non-routine stuff. Basically.
Yeah. Like we go out with all of the brothers and their shellings, and we had a great night.
Or like we go out for sushi one night, like on the Splur.
Yeah, but sometimes that could be even routine because we've done that like so often. So it's like,
so we go to a different restaurant, like on a
like
Splur.
Going bowling with Valentina and Joseph.
Yeah.
Like, we had a great time.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun,
and we remember that.
We've done that in the past, but it's like I remember all the motions through that because we were just having fun and we were very present in the moment, you know. And what?
You keep hitting the table.
Oh, sorry. I was like, are we looking at Oliver? Where is he?
No, he's in the bedroom.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, these past couple weeks have kind of blurred together because I've been so like diligent with my workout routine. Yeah. Which I'm always diligent with it, but I've been so strict with like the time frames of it. Like, I do all of the things at the time that I want to do it, and so these past couple weeks have kind of blended together. You know, like I these 2 weeks have gone by so fast.
They have. But I feel like that also comes down to have you heard the phrase romanticizing your life?
I don't know if that's, I mean, no, not in that way, I guess, but it's kind of a stupid phrase.
Why?
Just it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Okay, do you know what it means?
You make your life up to be better than it is in your mind?
No, not really. It's more about like making active choices in your life that will be memorable experiences. Like saying yes to going bowling on a weekday. Yeah. You know? Going out, meeting up with all the B2B guys and girls, and like having pizza at midnight with them, you know? Yeah. Or just like deciding that, hey, it's going to be really great weather this weekend. We should do a picnic. Like, just making small decisions of like creating those special moments. Yeah. And like, I do feel like we're getting better at that than we were before. And I'm not saying like all the decisions that you're making is going to cost like a lot of money, but it could easily be like, hey, instead of having dinner in front of the TV and watch a TV show that we're watching, let's have dinner out on the balcony. You know, like, let's light all the candles. Yeah. All the porch lights, like, make it cozy out there, and then let's have dinner out there tonight, you know?
Yeah. But the reason why I don't necessarily like having dinner out on the balcony is fine. That's fine. That's not something that's draining for me. Yeah. But it's like going out with all the brothers and stuff, that's taxing for me because I prioritize so much of trying to be really diligent with my health and taking care of myself and what I put into my body and all that stuff. Like it's not only that I'm doing that for a result, I'm doing that because I like it and I enjoy it. And
But that's also part of romanticizing your life, is because you're taking care of something that you have to live with. You're taking care of your body.
Yes, and I've lived the first part of my life, the first portion of my life, where I didn't have that. It was just skateboarding, partying.
Exactly, but you're taking the active decision of swapping out all of your cleaners to healthy ingredients, and you're swapping out like your food choices towards healthier choices, and you're taking vitamins, and you're having your routine with the red light, and you have this, that's also part of like romanticizing your life, because you're making the life that you want to have and like enjoying it,
Yeah. I was
but
trying
I feel like
to
that's
say
part of
something.
like being in the moment, because you're making those active decisions. It's not just a routine. You're making those decisions every day to do those things.
Yeah. It's I think though, just when you get really diligent with routine, you're kind of following through motions, and sometimes you're like, but the thing is, I'm always constantly like listening to something to where it's like causing me to like check in with myself about how I feel about what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
So I feel for the most part very present in my day-to-day life. But what I wanted to say was like going out with all the brothers and stuff, and like doing that. Of course, I have so much fun, but I'm the type of person, when I'm around people, I'm like a yes man.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, yep, down. Like I told you, I was like, I don't want to smoke any cigarettes when I'm out with any of the guys. And then within like literally Sia showed up within 5 seconds. He's like, you want a cigarette? And I'm like, yep.
It was inside. We're like, I smell smoke. The guys are smoking.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't even, and
do you want me to be the person that's like, no, Andrew's not smoking today?
No, because I think also because I don't do it all the time, that it's like, if my one vice, I have a couple cigarettes. My one vice. I don't like smoking, and I hate
You're like
how
a party smoker now.
I hate how I feel like the next day, because I feel like I'm so in tune with my body, and I'm so clean that like when I do have a cigarette, like I feel off the next day.
That's how I feel about alcohol.
Yeah.
Like that's how I've been feeling about alcohol for the past like 5 years. Because I'm like, yeah, I can do that, but I'm like, I know I'm gonna feel like shit tomorrow. I'm not possibly gonna be hungover, but I know I'm gonna be like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Like now I feel like I took 5 steps back.
Yeah, I always feel that after I have a night of like I have like multiple cigarettes, but I really genuinely miss being like that wild one in the group.
Yeah.
Like and I still am able to kind of do that with being sober, but then it's just like, oh, Andrew's just crazy.
I feel like
I have no excuse anymore to be like I was drunk.
Listen, if you were still that wild person, you would not be allowed to come back to Soho House.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
And that would have messed up relationships in so many ways.
Baby,
instead,
I know. There's a reason why I quit drinking, obviously. We all know that I didn't just quit drinking because I was like, oh, it's bad for you. No. Like, obviously I quit because I was had a problem. Obviously. That's a known thing. But that doesn't change the fact that I miss that. Like, when we go hang out with them, I try to inhabit that carefree feeling I had when I went out with friends. I would just drink. Someone pulled out freaking drugs, and I would be like, "Yep, give them here." Like I was always just like, "Yes, man." And so I feel
like you're still that kind of person.
Well, obviously, I'm not doing drugs or alcohol.
No, I know, but I'm saying like you're still like that, very positive, very like yes, like in conversations, and then like, oh, let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. Let's,
and it's becoming easier, and I don't have to make an effort for it anymore.
Yeah.
But there's just like that one thing that I've kind of given into is like, now if I get offered a cigarette, I'm like, yep. And I'm like, this is my one vice, but it's not like I go home and I smoked like 6 cigarettes that night, and I haven't had a cigarette since. And I haven't had the urge to. I used to smoke cigarettes. Yeah. Like, I don't know if like anyone knows that, but like I started smoking when I was like 16, and I quit.
Cheney.
And I quit smoking when I was 24. Like, I smoked a pack a day, sometimes more than a pack a day.
Yeah.
I smoked every time I drove my car. When I would drive up from San Diego to LA for like an audition, I smoked literally probably like 13 cigarettes.
And it was awful.
And I loved smoking, and then I quit cold turkey and I never smoked again. But now,
And I never touched a cigarette in my life.
good, because they're bad for you. And I'm not promoting smoking. I honestly don't. I don't know. I hate myself afterwards. But it's like that vice. It's like I get a little bit of that feeling of how I was when I was still drinking, and I just felt like carefree in the moment, just a crazy wild man in the streets. And it's like I get that little bit of feeling when someone's like, "You want a cigarette?" And I'm like, "Yep." And then I'm smoking it, and I'm just like, "I'm a wild man." That's how I feel when I do it.
Yeah.
It's bad for you though.
There was something else I wanted to bring up with what we were talking about. It's not about like it was more about like taking like being more in the present.
You know how this thing said, like, when you're doing novelty stuff, like more like special things, that you're more in the moment and you remember it more?
Yeah.
That's true. But I also think that when you're doing something that you really love and you're really enjoying yourself, time goes by so much faster for me.
100%.
So these things of like, I feel like sometimes when I'm doing things that I don't enjoy,
Yeah.
I feel like that's when time goes by the slowest.
Yeah.
I'm just like, God damn it. I'm like, this is taking forever, you know? But like when I'm on set, it's like 3 weeks go by so fast. I'm like, where did the time go?
Do you want to know something that really frustrates me?
What?
When I am right now, I am the most creative when I'm at work.
Okay.
And people can be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, she's creative at work. She's a designer. She needs to be creative at work. Yes, it is really good. And especially now, because this is my season, because I'm designing all the new styles for next year and everything. So I'm like in my top
You're
right
in your
now.
zone right now.
I'm in my zone. And I've created like this very inspirational headspace that I feel as soon as I'm like at work, at my desk, in my area, you know? And what's frustrating is like when I'm at work, I have like 1,000 thoughts going through my head, like about new design stresses and everything for work. But also at the same time, I have 1,000 designs and like things that I want to do at home and like for my own brand and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I need to like, I want to do this. I want to do these patterns. I want to do that, you know, I want to get these fabrics. I want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And then I come home and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to sit down and do all the things that I've been thinking about all day. And then as soon as I come in, like, our apartment does not have that creative space at all for me. And this is why I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I really wish I had like a storage unit or like an extra room that I could just have as like my creative space, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I also like, that's the thing, how you just say like, oh, you shouldn't have your work desk in the bedroom because you want your bedroom to be the space when you're relaxing and like dialing down.
Yeah.
And I feel like because for us, we're very much like living room people. Like we, at the end of the day, we come home, we sit down in front of the TV on our couch and we like relax and just disconnect. And since my sewing machine is also in the living room, like, yes, this is helping a little bit because I feel like I can close myself in. But I feel like I don't have that. And I also think it's because of like surfaces. Like at work, I have this huge desk. Like my desk is like maybe 3 times 8 yards big. Like it's massive. And I can like roll out all the fabrics and all the papers and all the patterns and everything. And I feel like I have so much space to do things. While here, I feel like it's so cramped. And I feel like that just like digs down. I'm like, I'm so frustrated that I don't have a space where I can focus on my own brand. Because that's the thing that I wanted to I don't know, there was something about the questions that we talked about before that I thought about that. And it's just like, because I really want to, like, I'm forcing myself to sit down right now to sew and like be creative and do stuff. And I feel like time and time over, I'm like getting like, I'm hindering myself because I feel like I have a blockage in this apartment doing stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't really know what I want to come from this conversation.
Well, I mean, you're just putting it out into the air, just like,
yeah.
I mean, just like when you have an idea, when you're having all these ideas at your work,
Yeah.
all these different designs, everything, do you jot them down?
Yeah.
You never like leave them in your head, right?
No.
Okay, because that's
I draw them down. Either I do it like I have printed out croquis that I like just do a quick design on, or I just grab literally. That's why I have these papers. Like, I use them for work. I use them for myself because I'm just like, it takes me 10 seconds to just draw down a little design or a little, if I want to write down a word or if I want to write something down that I want to remember for later, it takes me literally like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, now I can drop that out of my head and just focus on what I need to focus on. And then I'm like trying to come home and like pursue that idea that I had at work, and I'm just like, I feel so stuck. And I had this conversation with my dad this morning before we started podcasting, where I told him that like we were talking about fasting and how it's like, he's like, yeah, when you're at work, like, you know, like you start getting hungry at the same time that you have lunch every day. Like, you know, like you can feel like, oh, I'm starting to get hungry. It must be this time, you know? I mean, maybe you don't know because you don't have that kind of job when you have like a set lunch. But like I do that. I get hungry at 1 because I always have lunch at 1. And my dad always has lunch at 11. So he's like, I know when it's 11 o'clock because my stomach will get like super hungry at that time. And he was like, on days that you're not working, you can go like until like 1, 2 for him and not be hungry because you're busy doing other things. And I'm like, I feel like when I'm sewing, I'm always hungry. Like, that's my little like trigger. I'm always like, you see me, like when I'm sewing, I'm like walking into the kitchen, I'm grabbing a snack, and then I walk back to the sewing machine. Or like I go and grab tomatoes and I eat tomatoes, and or I ate like candy, or not that we really keep candy in the apartment, but it's just like, I don't know, like I feel like I have like these mental blocks in the apartment when I'm supposed to be sewing, that I'm like, I'm procrastinating.
Well, it's just, I mean, there's lots of distractions here too. It's like we have 3 animals. I don't know, when you're sewing, you're always watching a show too.
Yeah, but that's
I know that's soothing for you.
It is soothing, and I feel like I can disconnect everything else that's going on. Yeah. And have that in the background and just focus on.
Yeah, I just my brain works very differently than yours. Like I first of all, I don't like doing multiple things at once. Like the most I will multitask is working out at the gym and listening to a podcast or listening to a book or like listening to a script. That's the most I will multitask. Yeah. Because I can working out and then like zoning out to listen to something, I can like really focus in on that. And I feel like I remember it better because I'm physically moving. That's the most I'll multitask. But like for me, I don't like to work on multiple things at once. I don't like, it's like when I'm here working on something, I like it to be early in the morning. Typically, like if I have a job coming up, I like to wake up really early in the morning before anyone's awake, before the dogs are awake, and read the script in the morning. Like that's where I feel like I'm most productive. But there's so many distractions in here when you're doing stuff, and I don't know. It's just any little thing can set your mind off. Of course. But
I think because I kind of do the same thing at work, like I need something that distracts me in a way so I don't pay attention to everything else. Like, for example, when I'm home, I put on a TV show that I've seen multiple times. I put on right now I'm watching Desperate Housewives, so I'm putting that on. I've seen this show. I've watched it, I think, 4 times. I know what's happening. I can literally like watch it without even watching it, because I can just listen and know where we are at in the show, you know? And that way, that's going to be my background noise, so I don't know what you're watching on the TV. I don't know what the dogs are doing. I don't know, you know, all of that stuff, because I'm just blocking that out, and then I'm focusing on sewing.
Yeah.
While at work, we have a bunch of, like, I'm in this warehouse setting, and it's a huge open space. You have a bunch of sewing machines, industrial sewing machines going off really loud. I have 90% of my coworkers in the back, they're Mexican, so they're listening to Spanish radio. So there's a Spanish radio playing really, really loud. And then you have all these people like walking around doing stuff, and it's easy to get distracted in a very stressful environment. So like for me, I listen to podcasts because I don't have to watch it. I just listen, and I have my noise canceling headphones. I can cancel out all the other noise and just focus on the headphones. And then I just deep dive into what I'm working on, if I'm making patterns or and I think that's just my way of like doing, like, get stuff done, you know? Like, I create the distraction so I don't get distracted by everything that's happening in a way. Because I know some people would say, like, oh, watching something while you're sewing, that's so distractive. And it's like, not for me, because it's the right type of distraction. Like, I can't put on a new movie or like a movie that I haven't seen a bunch of times. I have my specific set of movies that I've watched hundreds of times that I just put on in the background.
I think I don't know. I'm just trying to think of, like, my mind works in the sense of like, okay, well, how could we make this place feel more productive? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's because this is our home and we're comfortable here and we relax when we come here. That it's like, I don't really know how you would,
because if we do make it
cycle.
But if we do make it productive, we're not going to be able to relax later. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be,
it's just, we need a bigger place where you can have like a room that's specifically
you can
for
close
work
the door.
And, and it's just, we don't have that right now. So but still my mind's working, like, I'm like, how could we do that? But then I'm like, I don't see.
Because that's the thing too, like, sometimes I feel like I can create this very creative space behind this curtain. No, but I'm in my little sewing corner. I feel like I can create this very creative space, and I'm like, oh, if I leave this now, I can jump back into it tomorrow, you know? But I'm like, if I leave this now, the rest of the house is chaos, and that's gonna disturb you, so I have to put everything back, you know? It would be nice to have a space that I can just close the door so you don't get stressed about it, and then I can just jump back into it the next day. But
well, one day we'll have that.
One day we'll do that.
Was there any other questions?
No, I think it's time to
wrap up
because
I got really tired.
I need to go and do Pilates.
Okie dokie. All right, guys. Well, I just got so tired. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next year.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Maybe.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Maybe not.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Things are happening to me live.